The story of an ice cube. Once there was an ice cube, well actually sculpture, called Night. Night always envied King.
So Night turned to God to help him change into the king. Please, God, help me. For years I am stuck in this solid form, unable to change shape. With a definite shape and volume, I would like to be the king. Please change me.
Now wait a minute. There are some things you need to know before we start the story. First of all, you need to know what an intermolecular distance is. The intermolecular distance is the distance between molecules. For example, the gas has the longest distance, and then liquid, and then solid. And the solid has a definite shape and volume. The molecules vibrate, but it cannot move around freely. Liquid has a definite volume, but it has an indefinite shape. Molecules can move past each other freely, and the intermolecular distance has increased from the solid. You also need to know that gas has no definite shape or volume. The molecules can flow past each other freely, but the intermolecular distance is larger than liquid or solid. After days and days, God heard Night's plea, and God asked Sun to melt Night to be formed into a king. Sun rushed over to Night to melt him into liquid. So, a solid turning into liquid is called melting. A melting is a phase change that changes solid to liquid when added thermal energy, heat, which is given from the sun. And this temperature has to be the melting point, which is over 0 degrees. While the sun is close to Night, Night's molecules get more energy to move around from the heat, causing the intermolecular distance to increase, which completes the phase change. And Night, who was solid before, is now liquid. Unfortunately, the sun stayed there for too long, losing track of time. So the Night was given more thermal energy from the sun, more than he needed. The liquid Night's molecules were given even more energy to move around, and the intermolecular distance increased, changing liquid to gas. This is called vaporization, and for this to happen, the temperature has to be at boiling point, which is 100 degrees or over. God captured Night, who was floating around as gas. Night, or Night's gas, touched the cold surface of the freezer for the heat to be taken away. When Night touched the side of the freezer, at the same time, the energy from the molecules is being taken away, causing them to slow down enough to become liquid again with a decreased intermolecular distance. This is called condensation. And for this to happen, the temperature has to be just enough so that the right amount of heat can be taken away. But it can't be too cold that the gas is turned into solid, which is called sublimation. The Night turned back into liquid and is poured into an ice tray shaped like a king to be frozen. The ice tray is then put into a cold freezer which is below 0 degrees and taking away the energy of the molecules forming the water and also causing the intermolecular distance to decrease again. This is called freezing, and the temperature has to be below 0 degrees like the freezer. After the ice tray has been left in the freezer for a while to be frozen,
Night rejoiced that he had been promoted to a king and said, "I'm finally a king!"
The end. Thank you for watching.